Brother J Talks Cars. Yesterday I wandered to a car meet, static one, Preston multi-storey car park, if you will. Excuse the background noise, I think somebody's working on something. I just thought I'd go grab a bit of content and what have you, because I've been running thin on ideas lately. So that's what the intro and the first bit was all about. In this one, there's not going to be any work on my car, but I'm going to have to use my car this week. The car is safe enough to drive, but I can't exactly be overly exertive, and from what I understand it's just going to be motorway miles. So I'm going to have to be ginger with the car just a little bit this week. The car's booked into the garage next week. The part has now arrived, but it's taken longer than planned. So yeah, that's what's going to happen in this one. I'm going to talk about a few things that have come up as well with regards to sort of motoring recently. There's something that's been rolled out recently that I feel will benefit in terms of, you know, protecting people with certain laws, but also as well I think it infringes on people's freedoms as well for the sake of enforcing laws. So I'm going to open that up for debate, if you will.
2 days later.
Okay, so it's Wednesday and I've been asked to bring my car in, so there's a chance of it getting sorted today. So that's going to be the rear strut mounts. It's probably going to get a service done as well, and then hopefully should be fine for this weekend. So yeah, wish the weather was a bit better. And she's back.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, so excuse for the wobbly camera. So I've just been informed by the garage that the car's ready. Just the rear strut mounts have been done. Let's go and give it a road test and see what it's like. Right, not long picked the car up. It feels a lot better, a lot more solid on the rear. I mean, she drove really well already anyway. So yeah, I'm happy. That's one less worry with the car. We had to get the parts through Audi, so that's like 50 quid per side, and yeah, we're looking to hopefully do more updates on the car. I'm going to be getting it prepped ready for the winter now that the cold nights are drawing in and it's just getting a little cooler. And yeah, I'm much happier now, and no knocking or banging or rattling or anything of the sort. So yeah, it's great.
1 week later.
Okay, it's been a week since I did anything on this. So I used the car over the weekend. This is just a little bit of an update really, just to fill on this. But yeah, I used the car over the weekend. I've got quite a few miles under it. Got a good 300 miles behind her. Drove fine. No more knocking in the back, as you can probably hear now. Car's driving like an absolute dream. The only little grimbles I have with the car at the moment just seems to be like, I don't know, it's like a little whine on acceleration. I don't know if that's because the gearbox was the way it was. And yeah, I mean, everything else is pretty sorted. I've saved quite a bit of money lately. bearing in mind that the repairs on the car didn't really cost that much. It was about a couple £100 just to get the rear shock strut top mounts done, and the car just drives brilliant. The handling is beautiful. It feels quite direct. There is a slight knock in the steering. I think that's because of a drop link or something, so I'm going to investigate that further at a later date. But yeah, car's driving brilliant. Having no problems whatsoever with her now. So going forward, I mentioned earlier in this video, if you will, that I'm going to be doing some pre-winter checks, mostly just so that I know what I'm going to be spending if I have to spend anything through the winter. Obviously to get the car prepped. I am a little bit nervous this year because I need to take the plastics off the car and check over the chassis and the underbelly of the car for any rot, or you know, for the car getting crusty in any way. So yeah, those are going to be little jobs that I'm going to need to do. But you know, general maintenance, wear and tear and stuff like that, you know, I mean, these are things that I need to monitor when looking after a you know, a 20-year-old car, because cars of certain age are susceptible, and if you know it's got something covering it, it could hide a world of problems. So yeah, that's going to be next on the list. There's not going to be many, if any, modifications or updates on the car. So content going forwards just going to be day-to-day use, certain situations, a bit more car meet content, and yeah, it should be fun. So, warning lights. Okay, the reason why I've got warning lights on my dash, or my heads up, is, remember when I put the DRLs in and wired them up to the side light loop? Now, they work as intended and as they should. However, the problem I have is because I've put LED lights on my brake lights, whenever I brake, they're on the same circuit. There's like a short somewhere along it. So I have a brake light, or one of my LED brake lights doesn't work, and my side lights, when I hold my brake, they flash, which then affects the DRLs. Now, I've been told that I need to get like a relay system, or some sort of electrical current interference between those parts. Now, I've also put LED headlights, upgraded the headlights. Now, I have got a new set of LED headlights coming, which have this relay on, so I'm going to try them and see if that resolves the issue. So in terms of little problems, that's some of them. Electrically, the car's fine, no gremlins or whatever. The problems I have with the car at the moment, or the ongoing problems or issues or gremlins, shall we say, is I have an issue with the body control module, which is under the passenger seat. Now, when I got this car 8 years ago, we had an issue with water getting in the car, which was coming in through the front scuttle because the plenum bungs were blocked. I've removed the plenum bung under the battery and the one either side, and I no longer have water getting in the car, or at least as much anyway. However, this problem had clearly been going on with the car for much longer than I've owned it. Needs to say that the water got to the point where it got in under the passenger, through the bulkhead, down the passenger side, and it was pooling in the ingress where the body control module would be. And water literally has damaged the wires and has damaged quite a lot to do with that area. The easy way of solving it would be to get another body control module, but then the problem I have is getting it mapped and programmed to the car, which will then be more expensive and cost more than what the car's value is. So what has that caused in terms of issues with the car? My remote central locking doesn't work. My actual central locking via key works, but my remote doesn't. So that is one problem. It doesn't matter how much I've reprogrammed the keys and changed batteries, it will not work because the body control module is absolutely shot. In terms of other areas, I've replugged in my sub in the back because I realised that I actually have a sub. I thought it was the speaker for the car alarm, but it turns out that it's actually the sub. So I've replugged that in, and now I've got bass in the car again, which is lovely, especially if I'm playing some drum and bass. Rah. So yeah, so that's another thing that's controlled by the body control module. Other bits and pieces and issues, little gremlin issues, I think I'll go back to that. But the car starts, it drives, it functions, it's quite smooth, it's not abrupt, it doesn't feel like it's going to die at any point, it's manageable, I'm happy, we're winning. So with review to your autumn checks, well, other than the obvious, your oil, water, your fluid, you basically your general fluids, your washers, make sure that you have, antifreeze in your water, and obviously a washer fluid that has a liquid substance in it that avoids it being frozen. Obviously, we do get some very cold winters here, he says, and we're at start of autumn, and it still looks very summery here, which I think the seasons are running a month behind nowadays. So yeah, so obviously there's checking the fluids. Also as well, before every winter, I would, especially with this car, I would check your upper control arms, because they go for fun. Because the bolt and the area that they're attached to, it is a common area that needs replacing quite a lot. So check that. I would say check those bushes and links every 6 months, because they're prone to going quite often, and yeah, it's definitely something to look out for. Okay, so this thing I wanted to talk about, Police and Highways Agency have brought in a new device on the roads. It's basically it works similar to the ANPR cameras, but this camera looks into the driver's vehicles. On the plus side, it looks for people using their phones and not wearing the seat belts and stuff like that, which I totally agree with. However, also as well, I feel within your car, it's your own personal space. And yes, there are laws to be followed. Please don't let me, lead you to believe that otherwise. But I do feel there's an element of invasion of personal space and privacy within the car. I appreciate that, we've got to think about safety. We've got to think about other people's safety. And if you go back a few of my J-Talks cars, I consider driving a skill, not a convenience. Admittedly, there are a lot of people on the roads that treat the freedom of driving like a convenience, which technically you could argue it is. But when you have something that you've worked for, you have to go through certain driving tests and do certain things. And can I just say, years of messing about as a boy racer has actually taught me to appreciate using the roads much more in a much more controlled manner than just getting in, switching on the key and going from point A to point B. Excuse the wind, because I couldn't do this in the house. So I'm not too keen on this whole thing, but with regards to this camera system that they're going to be using, however, I don't disagree with why they've put it in place. I think it's a good thing in terms of, considering other people's safety. Phone use on the roads is a massive thing that I'm against, because again, I've had friends who have been in accidents. Luckily, I've not lost anybody to it, but I know of people that have been in some quite serious accidents because other drivers have not been paying attention to the road, and they've been more bothered about their social media or their weekend plans or a text message or something like. So I totally agree with the reason why, as far as the phone's concerned. Seatbelts, again, I feel as much as there's a law and you have to wear your seatbelt on the grounds of safety, there are people who are exempt from wearing seatbelts. But I do believe, and I'd like people to comment on this, is I believe that if you have an exemption from wearing a seatbelt now, that you will no longer be eligible to drive anymore, because of the main safety implications. And I think it's more the risk factor as well with not wearing a seatbelt. And if you're exempt from wearing a seatbelt and you're still driving, you are basically putting your own life at risk. I know some people don't really care for self-preservation nowadays, because at the end of the day, you can't do anything once you're dead. But at the same time as well, I feel as though it is, it's becoming a little bit of a grey area. And if people have issues with wearing seatbelts or have health implications from wearing seatbelts, I'm sorry, but I'm on the side of you shouldn't be driving, you shouldn't be on the road, because if you don't care about your own safety, what are your thoughts towards other people's? So that's something that I'll leave the floor open for argument, discussion, healthy disagreements, whichever you want to call it. So going back to the point about the cameras looking into cars, I still believe that within your car, it's your own personal space. You could say, well, I have passengers in my car, is it still considered my personal space? Well, it kind of is, but you've invited other people into your personal space, so there is an argument. You could argue as like, well, I'll just tint my windows, I'll have the chameleon tints or whatever. Well, yeah, there's one way around it, but the problem there is, I'm pretty sure at some point they're going to be banning chameleon tints, because there's, I don't know if it's law or a mandate or something, but basically the driver and anybody in control of the vehicle must be seen, and the tint should be should let basically over 80% lighting, from what I believe or what I understand. rear windows is not an issue. So yeah, it's a good thing, but it's an area of contention, because my personal opinion is, when you're in your car, it's your personal space, it's your safe space, if you will, providing you keep yourself safe and you keep everyone else around you safe. So yeah, I'm not overly keen on it, but at the same time, I agree with why it's been, set up and everything. So I just wanted to mention that it's something that was brought to my attention, and I feel, it's something maybe for open discussion. The points that I believe, if anyone's going to discuss this, the points I think you should take into consideration is personal safety, other people's safety, and there are people that are flouting the law because there is this I'm better than you sort of attitude in society nowadays, and that goes as far as being apparently above the law. So yeah, I don't disagree with why it's coming into place, but I disagree with the fact that it does intrude on personal space. Just a footnote to this as well is, we as a society have become so reliant on cameras nowadays. Look at me, I'm doing this to a camera phone. And we have CCTV, we have cameras in our cars, we have security cameras everywhere, and as much as they're great and they benefit certain things, I've come to learn that they also become a negative as well, because you don't have either personal freedom to a degree, you don't have as much privacy as there once was, and it's one of those things, really. That's the way the world's become. We've become reliant on technology as a whole, to be fair. Doing this online, sharing this online. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here. This is meant to be about cars, and I'm talking about cameras. But yeah, this is just another thing that I think a lot of people on the road should now take into consideration. Before you even get in your car, you should be thinking about these things anyway, about other people's safety, your own personal safety. Don't allow yourself to be distracted by a device. There is a little bit of a grey area with me, because I'm creating car content and I'm using said devices in my car, and I have to activate these devices whilst mobile sometimes to give you the content you want. So I have to take into consideration my own personal safety and safety of other people around me when doing this. So I have to think about these factors, and there's a lot to think about with this. Admittedly, this is only a part. This is only a hobby, and I only do this content infrequently, to maybe compared to people who do regular car content. That must be an absolute minefield. But yeah, I want to get people's thoughts on this. With a few things that I brought up, maybe you can correct me on a few facts, because end of the day, every day's a school day. And it is talking about cars, but I want to talk more about as well the other things, that we have to contend with as drivers, because there are a lot of things that go against us drivers, for the sake of paying for the freedom of moving about. There are more factors against us than there is for us. So that's another thing to maybe bring up on another day. So anyway, I'm going to leave this one at this. Just a few little bits and pieces. I am going to do more content, so bits on me doing the car check stuff and everything like that. I'm also there's going to be more work in the car because the car is due a service. It had its timing belt done, I think, last year, but I think when I did the MOT, so it's going to get a typical service and whatever. I'm going to change the air filter to a panel filter, so probably K&N or a different variant, one that's obviously of a decent standard. I'm going to have the injectors checked and things like that on it. Just basically a good look over the engine. The engine's very smooth. The engine's very reliable. The PD130 is just absolutely incredible as an engine. It's the best diesel engine, in my opinion, VAG have ever created. Shame it's a Euro 5 engine, but I mean, it's still absolutely incredible. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the engine I've got. That's the one thing that's been the constant reliable with this car, and I hope it continues. Okay, so this is all for this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please share. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. I'm doing something different. This is a hobby still. However, I'm very grateful for the sponsors that are already on board, which are Powermaxed and carfans.com. I am looking to do more of this type of car content, especially going into next year. Obviously, in terms of the regularity of the content, it will be every couple of weeks due to my other commitments and my day job as well. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying what I'm doing so far. Please bear with me. I am going with the flow and trying to increase, the content and the variation of content as well. Even though this is predominantly about living with a vehicle over 10 years and making it work for you, especially with today's regulations and stuff like that, I'm hoping that it is of a service of some sort to you guys. Anyway, enough from me. I will see you in the next one. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next vid. Ciao, bien. Are you looking for a site where you can show off your pride and joy amongst a group of other fellow car enthusiasts? Well, I've discovered recently Carfans. Now, Carfans is literally a social media site for car owners and car enthusiasts. On there you can share pictures of your cars, specs. You can even go to see when the next car meet's going to be, and you can even speak to some of the professionals in the trade that can perhaps help you to improve your car. I've stumbled across this, and I have to say I'm absolutely loving what they're doing. This is something totally unique, and it's something that, in my opinion, the car scene has needed for a while. A lot of the past, there's been car forums where you just kind of reply to somebody putting up something in a certain topic list. This is where you can just go real time, and you'll speak to people who perhaps know more than you, or perhaps may rely on your knowledge of certain cars, certain mods, certain modifications, engineering, mechanicking, bits and pieces like that. So this is a fantastic site to check out. I would recommend visiting carfans.com. Get yourself registered. It's literally your car social media site that you need to be on, and trust me, this is a fantastic place to be. You're in a world where other people appreciate the same love that you do. It's going to be absolutely superb, and I would highly recommend you do that. Visit carfanstoday.com and join a community of like-minded car enthusiasts sharing their experiences, knowledge and passion of their love for motoring.